Yeah, when you're feeling down and motivated in the midweek, we got the guys here to make your life complete. Little John, Brandon, Cody, Carly, they're coming in to keep you motivated all week. New episode, same time every week. Don't gotta wait long for the next one to release. So don't go away, sit down, take a seat, enjoy Midweek Motivation with John and Carly. Hey.
Midweek Motivation.
Let's go!
What I need is my arms.
Look at that. I hit the right button this week and didn't screw it up. Yes, Cody, it is Wednesday already. My, how the week flies. Well, welcome to Midweek Motivation, real conversations with real people about a very real God. It's funny, on Sunday, Courtney and I got to do pre-show and post-show and all that.
That was cute, by the way.
It was so fun.
Very cute.
It was so fun. We don't get to do that
Put a
stuff
smile on
hardly
my
ever
face.
together. But I closed out. I did post-show by myself. This is why I messed up. And I always like to promote Midweek Motivation right at the end. Just let people know, because this is our midweek touch point with our online community or our in-person community. And so we wanted to make sure people know about it and just give you that invite. And I finished up and I said, yeah, make sure you join us for Midweek Motivation at noon, and we'll see you. Have a great week. Stay blessed. And we got done, and John looks at me. He's like, you didn't tell him what day that was. I'm like, oh, that's a good point. I guess I might need to say the day, but y'all know because you're here.
Yeah,
everybody
exactly.
knows. Welcome, Cody, Levi. Levi claims that he's our one fan. So
Well, Courtney would beg to differ.
Yeah.
And so would Cody.
we got Courtney and Cody. Cody is out working hard. We will get him back on the show eventually, but Cody is working hard. It's the hardest
Workaholic.
working. He how did he describe it one time? Is concrete masonry units. Do you know what concrete masonry units are?
I do.
You should know what that is.
I know.
Yeah, you worked there,
Yeah.
right? Cinder blocks.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about how he was out selling concrete masonry units. I said, wow, that sounds like, what are those? Oh, those are cinder blocks. Like, isn't it fun when you work in a trade that people don't understand to use
Right.
big words? Like, it just makes you sound like you know much more than you do.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of amazing. I
Yeah.
love that.
I don't know what that's like.
You don't know what that's like? I do that all the time. So Carly and I, we meet with Dustin and Marshall every single week, and we plan the worship service, talk about all these things. And Carly, if you know Carly and I, we're our love and deep passion is tech and all these things. And we were explaining to somebody the other night, like, we don't really know what we're doing. Like, we're ministry people, right? But the fun thing is when you work in a church long enough, if you have some knowledge of tech, you learn that you have to do weird things, right?
Yes.
There are weird things. It's like, hey, we got to be able to put a TV on stage and be able to touch it, and then be able to send that out to our live stream and to the screens in house. How do we
Right.
do that? I don't know.
Turn it on.
But
That's
we
the
can
first
find
step.
out,
Yes.
right?
Make sure it is plugged in.
Right. Like, I got to be able to watch this service in this room that's not connected. Like, how do we do that? I don't know, but we can find out,
Yeah.
right? So Carly and I laugh all the time because we'll start talking about things like, somebody will have an idea. It's like, well, how could we do that? We talk, and like Dustin's eyes will just glaze over.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's fantastic.
Yep.
And we joke like all the time, like, people just have no idea what we're saying sometimes, and that's okay.
It's very fine.
But yeah,
It's an exclusive
all that to
club.
say, Cody, we miss you. We love you. Cody is, don't take this the wrong way, but Cody is my favorite co-host to have on this show. No. He is my favorite. He is absolutely my favorite because it's just, Cody just has the best timing, and you're up there. You and Cody are tied for second. Unfortunately, Brandon is too, but Cody's up
I don't
there
even
nice
want
and
to
high.
talk anymore.
Dude, Cody is just one of my favorite people. Speaking of which, Cody, we don't use that gross cinder word anymore.
Yeah.
I'm
They're too high class for cinder blocks.
I'm deeply curious why, but also this is not the time. So Cody, we're gonna have to hang out and have you explain to me the intricacies of of naming concrete masonry units and why. And our viewership is just plummeting right
well,
now.
since you started talking about how he was your favorite, I mean,
That's it.
I fully expect,
we get
Ashley
the-
to not tune
we ask
in.
this all the time, but who is your favorite? I'm always curious who your favorite is when we have them on the show. Megan is probably the best to have on the show. Christine is always great to have on the show. Cody is always great for just dropping little tidbits.
Mm.
Just throws in little things, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I can't be too offended because I am technically the midweek co-host.
yes, you are
So
the
I
official
can't be a
co-host.
guest.
Right, you're not a guest.
I am the co-host.
Yes. So I guess, I don't know. If
I'm not
we would
offended anymore.
Cody's just such an OG, too.
Yeah.
Which I was explaining that to my kids one day because they were using OG. They're like, what's that mean? Like, you don't even
Original
know what
good
OG.
fellow.
Yeah, that's it. Of course. Put in the chat if you know what OG means. It's, hey, Jody. Jody, do you know what
Hello.
OG means? Jody ought to know.
Yes.
Jody's from the West Coast. She ought to know what that means. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything.
Jody from the west side.
Right?
All right, Jody.
Is it a little more Biggie or are you Biggie or Tupac? Is it let's see, a little East Coast, West Coast? I barely lived in that world. And my buddy G Ray's watching on YouTube, working hard.
G-Ray.
Let's see. What are we here for today? There was things, dude. Let's talk
midweek,
about
I think.
Sunday.
Oh.
Sunday.
Sunday.
That's why you're here. That's why we love you.
Thank you for your sympathy, Jody.
All for
Appreciate
that voice. Poor Trevor. No, wonderful Trevor. Trevor gets the privilege of sitting next to me and doing this show every single week. He gets another privilege right after we finish the show. That'll be fun. That'll be fun
yeah,
for me.
You'll
but
find out.
You'll find out about that later. But Sunday was Freedom Sunday. It's a fantastic day. Got to, there's 100,000 people here. It felt like it was amazing. I
It was
didn't hear the
close.
actual number.
Close.
It was crazy. There was like 300 kids downstairs. There was like 1,000 people in the worship center. We had 500 between 500 and 600 people online worshiping with us, and a whole slew of people outside eating some barbecue. And can we just say, like, the winner of the barbecue competition, right?
Yeah. It was rigged.
We shouldn't be as shocked as we were.
It was rigged.
Right? Because everybody can buy Poke Joe's, so I don't know why nobody else did. But clearly he bought Poke Joe's. But our good friend Carly was... all right, Levi, I'm going to call homeschool
All
on
right,
your
somebody
spelling there.
cut Levi off from Google.
Man, I bet we're also going to...
And
Well, one, okay, homeschool, thank you for recognizing knowing what it is, but also homeschool and your spelling.
can't even spell original.
We got to have a talk with your homeschool teacher there. I'll work on that. But Sunday, fantastic day outside. And I'll tell you what, coolest thing, it looked like rain all morning until about 10 o'clock, right? So I had speakers set up outside, got in early, and I'm looking, and it's going to rain. And I was talking to our safety guys, and I said, because they're right there by the door, and I said, if it starts to rain, grab these things, throw them in here, and I don't care about anything else. It'll be fine. So they were ready. Our buddy Lakin was on storm watch. He was ready to grab speakers and all the sound equipment and everything that's outside. Luckily, we didn't need it. And so I walked outside at like 10 o'clock, check on a couple things, and sure enough, look, the sun is shining. That was like, man, because we were praying a little bit, like, hey, let's not have some rain on one of our biggest days outside. And we didn't have rain. Then we got a little more than we bargained for. So apparently that's why we should pray specifically, right? So we should have prayed for no rain, but one cloud.
Yes.
Slightly over.
Give us one unseated cloud.
Yes. One unseated cloud. The definition of upgrade. Listen to you.
Man.
Oh, thank you, Jody. I'm so glad that you knew that meant. I had no doubt.
Yeah, it's obviously Goodfellow. She agreed.
Obviously good fellow. But Sunday was a fantastic day outside. 17
day.
baptisms. If you were joining us online, you didn't get to see that. But we'll have some stuff that we'll share from that later on. But I mean, the testimonies. Good heavens,
Very
man.
powerful.
I don't know about you, but there might have been a little something in my eye for a couple of them.
Yeah, a little bit of dust caught my eye.
A little bit of dust in my eye. That doesn't happen to me very often, but man, the baptism testimonies always get me when we do that, whether in person or inside or outside. Like, man, those testimonies, those stories, fantastic. and the way that the people cheer and celebrate when they come up out of that water is just amazing. So baptisms are coming up. I think probably not till August. We got a little bit of a lull now, but you can always sign up. Go to parkroanoke.com/baptism if you're interested in baptism as your next step. Cassidy will talk with you and just kind of get you an idea of what that looks like. Is that really your next step? Whatever that is. parkroanoke.com/baptism. You can learn more about that. But baptism is, especially outside, that's just fun. Right?
Yeah.
Being up on top of the hill, you look out across the mountains, and then you've got your entire church family like right there surrounding it. It was a beautiful time. So thank you so much for all of you that joined us. It was a great day. We ate some delicious barbecue. Our good friend Carly won the barbecue competition. And I can't remember. I don't think I got to try any of his. By the time I got to barbecue, it was gone.
Well, unlike your sorry experience, I got to try every barbecue.
Yeah. Was it worthy? I mean, you were one of the judges.
Well, obviously it was worthy. He won.
So it was
Okay,
it was not
look,
like
the way
I
it
have
was.
to pick my boss.
Well, no, it's because we didn't know the names attached to them. They just had numbers
True.
of entries. He was in the top 3, so they presented us with the top 3, and it was pretty much, I think it was unanimous with 5 judges who the number 1 barbecue was out of the 3. So, I mean,
So it's hard to
can't
argue.
really say he cheated.
We're going to give him a hard
It's-
time, but he worked hard.
It was earned.
He lost sleep, worked hard.
Courtney with the Reliant K lyric.
And she's
Let's
great.
go. Courtney, I love you.
Yeah,
You're
Jody, I'm
awesome.
with you. There were some tears happening from there. But great time outside. The foam party was hilarious. Did you see the flamingo racing? I didn't get
I
around
missed
to
it.
see
I
that.
was judging. I wasn't able to see it. And
I
they were
wasn't able to
tearing
see
it
that
up.
too. If
Yeah.
you saw the flamingo racing, put it in the chat. Let us know how that went. There were snow cones. We gave away, all the snow cones. I don't know how many we had, but there was a ton of them. There were snow cones. There was, slides.
Yep.
There was, the watermelon eating contest was hilarious.
Yes. Yeah.
Man, thank you so much for participating in that.
It was a lot of fun.
Especially you who know who you are. That was highly impressive. I was not about to participate in that. 'Cause, I don't like watermelon that much.
I mean,
Not in
I
that
would
way.
have if I wasn't already full from all the barbecue I ate. So
Yeah. Well, poor you. That was fantastic.
I know.
I did get to go. So, pro tip, right? I'm going to let you in. I've been in church my whole life, right? So, I'm going to let you all in on a secret, okay? This is a midweek motivation, Darren's church experience secret, okay? Here's the secret to church potlucks, okay? You ready for this?
Yes.
Everybody thinks you want to go at the beginning of the line. Wrong. Rookie mistake. You never want to go 1st, right? Because here's the deal. If you go first in the potluck line, you really kind of have to be considerate of all the other people that are behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And you can't take too much. And then what if by the time it comes around for seconds, because you think, I'll just get seconds, no big deal. By the time the line finishes, I'll be finished. I'll go back and get my food,
Yep.
right?
Because the last
What if
guy-
it's gone?
Yeah, the last guy has already calculated exactly how much he needs to get to prevent seconds from being had for everybody.
Exactly. So you are not required, if you are at the end of that line,
Correct.
you are not required to leave enough for seconds, right? So, pro tip, always go at the end of the line.
Absolutely.
Right now,
Yeah.
if there's not enough, you do run that risk a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then you don't have to feel guilty about how much that you pile on your plate. Especially if they're serving, you don't have to feel bad if you ask for a little extra barbecue.
Right.
So there's a reason that
Yes.
I waited an hour to go eat barbecue, because there was still a significant amount of barbecue left.
I thought it was just because you were busy.
Well, there's that too, but that's all right. It is what it is. But yeah, Sunday's a fantastic day. Freedom Sunday. In the service, we got to hear some testimonies from Tamara and Devin. Thank you so much for sharing
those were
those.
great.
Excellent testimonies. So go back and watch those. Just an all over great service.
Yeah.
I mean, a real heaviness of the spirit. There was good heaviness in a good way, not in a bad way. I think a lot of passion, a lot of drive and worship. especially at 10:30 because the room was just full.
Oh yeah, it was packed.
We were laughing because you look at the numbers, and they were like the services were not very balanced.
It's just very lopsided.
And we think it's because we said baptisms and barbecue after 10:30. So I think a bunch of people had planned just to
Shame
come at
on you.
10:30.
You know what? Next time we're just going to keep the baptisms a secret.
And I think it's I'll say I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say it's because they wanted to be there for the baptisms and not just barbecue. But also, look, no shame if you were showing up, and wanted to make sure you were there for the barbecue. Nothing wrong with that. But we were laughing at that. But the cool effect of that is we had almost 700 people in the room at 10:30, and when you hear that many people singing and worshiping your faces off, just fantastic, right? Game-changing day. So thank you so much for being a part of Freedom Sunday. Thank you for all those that invited. Thank you for those that invited and worshiped online with us. That was a fantastic time. We're just so honored to be with you. This Sunday, another great Sunday, we get to pray over students that we're sending to NTS. They get to go away for Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 5 days. I had to count all on my fingers.
Right.
They're going away for 5 days to South Carolina, so celebrate them, pray for them. If you've ever been to youth camp, you know the life-changing things that happen. They get to disconnect, then get dehydrated and play some silly games and all that good stuff. So if you have a student,
God be with
NTS,
the
tell them to drink
chaperones.
water. Pray for our friend Lincoln. Pray for Lincoln and John and all the other John and Cassidy and let's see, our interns Brentley and Casey are going. We're sending a whole bunch of people. I think Corinne's going. I think is what I heard. Corinne's going down to NTS.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people going to NTS. So
all right.
Pray for all those leaders that are taking their week. A lot of them taking a week off of work. Using their vacation time to go invest in students. And man, that's something right there. I love that. I love seeing that. I love when you have adults that are willing to invest in students, and I'll just tell you, as a former youth pastor, that makes all the difference, even more so than the youth pastor. So parental involvement in your students' lives, other adults that they trust and love, your involvement in their lives, really makes all the difference. Long-lasting, lifelong impact. So don't discount that. Be praying for our students as they go to NTS camp. Middle and high school students. Do you know how many? You know how many we're taking? Did you hear?
Yes.
We're taking 100 students and leaders this year.
Let's go.
That is insane.
100. We hit the goal.
I think they're going to have to strap students to the bus, to the roof.
That'd be pretty entertaining. But
I'm pretty sure they could strap at least a Chilson to the bus and then to the roof of the bus.
just weld a little sidecar to the bus. Have somebody sit.
All the staff kids have to ride on top of the bus.
A double decker.
Yeah. Dude, well, I'll tell you what. If you've ever been to Africa or other less developed parts of the world, that's a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
When I was in Sierra Leone, we got to see a bus driving down the road that was, it's a dirt road with potholes deeper than the bus tires. And you had people and their luggage all up on top of the bus, just kind of hanging on, just chilling. Yeah. Oh, dude, it was insane to watch. It was great. I love it. I'm ready to go back. That's good times. You want to go to Africa with me?
I mean, I've always wanted to go on a missions trip.
All right, let's do it. We'll tell Megan. Let's see. What else is coming up? Power Conference coming up.
Yes.
I can look at the notes.
Literally under.
It's in the notes, literally right there. Power Conference. If you've never heard of Power Conference, have no idea what we're talking about. So Parkway is part of the Wesleyan Church International, but we're part of the Shenandoah district of the Wesleyan Church, and it's somewhere 50-ish churches. I'm not sure how many it is right now, but we get to partner with all those churches and all of our sister churches. There's 7 of us here in Roanoke, but we'll have churches from all over our district, all over Virginia and West Virginia, that'll be here at Parkway because we get to host our district conference. Sunday night, we get to worship with all of our Wesleyan brothers and sisters from our sister churches. So our own Parkway worship team is leading worship, which we're very excited about.
Let's go.
We're going to try to rattle. I told Neiman I want to rattle screws out of the drywall. So we'll see.
Missed opportunity to play rattle, Marshall.
Dang it. Maybe next year. I'm just kidding. We won't rattle the screws out of the drywall, but please make sure you're a part of that. It's a different type of atmosphere worshiping with people from other churches, because I was explaining to our tech team the other night, because there were some of them, this will be their first power conference. I was explaining to them it's different when you have all of the most bought in people from every church. Like, this is all of the leaders and the worship teams and like all the people that are like bleed your church colors, right? That's the best way I could describe it. Like,
right.
These are the people that are most bought into church music and worship and, you know, all of church ministry. Like, so worship is just different, right? And it's just cool to see that, you know, we're part of not only the church overall, the church universal across the world, but we're part of a larger Wesleyan movement here across Virginia, West Virginia. So make sure you're joining us in person or online. It will be streaming on the Shenandoah District website. That'll be available. You can find that somewhere in our socials or on our website as well. But you can find that at parkerroanoke.com. You'll find that there. So in person or online, if you're far away, you can watch that and worship with us that way. That is this Sunday, July the 13th. It's 6:30 p.m. So make sure you join us. It's going to be a banger.
Yep.
It's going to be a good time. So I'm looking forward to it. Make sure you join us. Again, our own worship team is leading worship. Our friend Josh Ratliff from, I believe it's Crosspoint Wesleyan Church, Crosspoint Church in Lynchburg, will be preaching. It's going to be a good time.
Sweet.
I'm looking forward to it. Also a lot. If you are looking for some cool Parkway merch or just some cool Jesus merch and ways to show your faith and all those good things, you can order, if you want a cool upside down hat, just like this guy here, which we were discussing, like Carly and I think we're going to make another one that has maybe a little more arch on it, right? And we're thinking about maybe doing an uppercase one. So we got some ideas. If you have shirt ideas or hat ideas or design ideas, let us know because we'll consider them. But you can go to parkerroanoke.com/merch.
Church Maherch.
Church Maherch shop, which it might change from church merch to like church shop. But right now it is the Church Maherch shop.
Let's go.
So parkerroanoke.com/merch. You can see all the designs there. You've got good old classic Parkway gear, some fun midweek motivation merch, good old hats, there's shirts, there's sweatshirts, lots of good stuff there. So get it while it's hot. I think it's still hot.
Well, I think it should be said that it's not everything that's on there right now is not going to be there forever.
True.
So if you see a design that you like or think that could be improved, please give us feedback because that's what we're looking for. And eventually we're going to narrow the selection down a little bit. So, keep that in mind.
Ooh, so Jody says she always goes first. She doesn't want people breathing and spitting on her food. That's a great point. Look, I wouldn't do that because that doesn't bother me in the same way, but I understand that.
Germs are good for you.
And that's always been my motto.
Yeah.
It's worked great.
I mean,
that's worked great, but I won't hate on that. That's a good strategy.
I'm the epitome of health, obviously.
So Diana says, when I lived in Nigeria, I saw a family of 5 riding down the dirt road on a 2-seater motorcycle. Facts. Real thing. So yes, Diana, I've never seen that, right? That's fantastic. I will tell you my first experience on a motorcycle was in Sierra Leone, and there were 3 of us on a motorcycle.
Nice.
Not the most comfortable I've ever been in my life.
I would imagine.
It was not the most comfortable, but that sparked my love and desire for a motorcycle, which still has not happened. But Diana, thanks so much for sharing that. That's fantastic. It is kind of funny. When we went to Sierra Leone, the missionary we were with, she was telling us we were talking about the traffic and making jokes because I grew up in Michigan about Michigan drivers, and I've lived in Indiana and all these things. She said the rule in Sierra Leone is horns are required, but tires are optional. Because you would just pull up to and it may be like this in other parts of the world as well too. So we would pull up to an intersection, and I'm sitting in the back of this Jeep, right, sitting on a tire, and our driver pulls up. Excellent driver, by the way, fantastic guy. Pulls up to the intersection. In America, you slow down coming up to a red light. He didn't slow down. I'm sitting there just kind of waiting, and he just blows his horn. He slowed down a little bit. And so he slows down just a little bit, blows the horn, and just keeps on
it's
going.
A suggestion.
Right. Stoplights are suggestions.
Very nice.
I'm a big fan of.
I'm a fan of that. Well,
I would do that.
I don't know.
But I've seen American drivers.
I mean, American drivers also see them as suggestions.
But you know what's amazing? the number of we were there for 14 days, or 10 days. We were there for 10 days. Witnessed one accident, which we were in, but that was that was a different story.
Plot twist.
That's a different story. But the number of accidents that you see just driving to work, right? And this is in a city of 1 million people, right? That we're driving through.
Yeah,
this
that's a lot.
This is insane. No, sorry, 3 million people.
Oh,
because
my.
after there's some things. A city of 3 million people that was designed to hold 1 million people, right? Insane.
Designed to hold 1 million people.
Yes, designed by somebody. Some city manager said it's 1 million.
Yeah. Oh, this could hold 1 million.
Yeah. Sorry, that's a rabbit trail. Diana, you just took me down that rabbit trail, but thanks so much for sharing that. That's awesome. Well, hey, what else are we here for? Things.
I think we're here to just probably something spiritual. I think.
Oh, Jody, you got to convince my wife. Jody, if you can convince my wife.
If you can't
sold.
convince Courtney,
But I have a
just
feeling-
dial up Ashley and convince her.
Well, I have a feeling Matt's getting rid of it for a reason,
That's also very true.
right? And I don't think I don't think my wife will agree yet. We did make a deal that once the kids are out of the house, I could have a motorcycle. But I feel like
So that means she's ready to get rid of you too.
right? So that's what I'm saying. That either that, right, or it's a stall, right?
Yeah.
Because we still got like 20 years, right?
Oh,
Because
man.
our kids are young. Well, not even 20 years. Good
You
heavens.
know what you should do when your kids are out of the house?
Cry?
You retire. No, get season tickets to Michigan football games.
That would be a little challenging. I'd have to buy a private jet too.
Well, no, you just stay up there for the season.
Well, that'd be fantastic. I could
Yeah.
retire. Oh, I could retire up there.
Yep.
I do
You're
love
welcome.
Michigan.
It's a great idea. Oh, also, you were talking about Michigan and Indiana drivers.
Indiana drivers are terrible.
The drivers down here are way worse than the drivers in Michigan. I know this because I've driven through Michigan
Yes.
for Michigan football games, and I can tell you, way worse around here.
I
It is a
think
fact.
that's correct. I do agree. I think that is correct. And you know what? No shade on Virginia drivers, but you stress
Oh, yeah,
me
I
out.
mean,
I've
love
never, I've never. Look, I'm going to tell you. Here's a perfect example. Okay, so there's if you're from the Roanoke area, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So there's a stretch of road on 81 between Salem and Christiansburg, right? It's up a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely, hands down, the worst possible stretch of road I have ever seen.
Yes.
Right? And I'm not talking about potholes.
Mm-mm.
Right? So I'm 36 years old, and never before, this was like, I started driving up there and back, drove up there and back for work for a year, right? 5 days a week for a year, all that good stuff, right? I was 33 at the time, 31 maybe, 32, somewhere in that range, early 30s.
Yeah.
Been driving for many years at that time. Never once had I seen a semi-truck flipped over in the median on fire. Never once in my life, right? Minimum 3 times
Yeah.
that I can remember that I saw on that road a semi-truck flipped over in the median on fire.
You know, that's commonplace anywhere on 81 between like Withville and Harrisonburg. You're going to see a flipped over tractor trailer somewhere.
It's kind of mind-blowing.
It's
I couldn't believe it.
quite crazy.
I had no clue that that was a thing. I didn't know. Maybe other parts of the world that's more common. Never in Michigan. Maybe because Michigan's super flat. But still, like snow, all this stuff. And this is like good weather. These things are happening. Crazy stuff. Oh,
You see that? Courtney, we are friends because you just told me if I buy the tickets, I can go with him.
well, yeah, she wouldn't go with me. I wouldn't take her. She doesn't want to go. She'd be trying to wear Ohio State stuff.
Listen,
Can't handle that.
well, first of all, you know what? We won't go there. Go blue. Anyway,
I would have to take one of my good sons who's actually a Michigan fan.
What are your
So
kids?
they're good in a lot of ways, but a couple of them have been poisoned by my wife and my in-laws.
Oh.
Specifically my blonde one, but that's all right. Well, Virginia drivers are worse than Vegas drivers. That's
Yo,
intriguing.
well, you know what? That right there is evidence enough.
That's intriguing, Jody. I'll take your word for it.
Yep. Thanks, Jody.
Well, anyways, here's what we are here for. This is real conversations, real people about a very real God. And I had this thought this week, kind of based off of the sermon series that Dustin's been taking us through. We've been in this winning series. This was our 3rd week in the winning series, going through Romans chapter 8, a little bit of chapter 7. But he shared this verse on Sunday, and it sparked in me a conversation that I had with somebody just years and years ago. This was like second and third hand conversation. So, but it was this kind of this idea. So there was this is years and years ago in Michigan. So I grew up in Michigan, about 45 minutes from where Christine grew up. Right, Christine and I grew up going to the same district camp. Right.
Wow.
So there's this pizza place that the name is escaping me right now, but it's right in town, right outside of Vassar, Michigan. So Christine, if you're watching, help me out. But there's this pizza place, so this campground is in this tiny place, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing around nowhere around to go eat. You got to go 40 minutes away, except for this pizza place, right? It's like 20 minutes into town. So everybody goes there. So there was a group of pastors that were at lunch, and they were getting served by this younger gentleman, and they're at this pizza place or eating their pizza, and they're talking to this younger gentleman, and it's a whole bunch of pastors because so one of them has to do something spiritual, and they're talking to this guy about they engage in this conversation about philosophy and all these things. I think he was studying philosophy at some point in school, and they were asking him about who he studies. But it's interesting the way that they ask the question, right? So they asked the question this way, and this is the way they phrased it to me. Again, I wasn't there. This is like secondhand, so take it for what it's worth. But the way they phrased this question to him was, "Who do you follow now?" Right now, this is like 2005, maybe, right? So Twitter is not really a thing. But think about that idea. So it made me think of, and maybe because they were talking about philosophy and all this stuff. So, like, what do you know about? It's going to get real deep, real weird.
Let's go.
Yeah. So, what do you know about ancient education in philosophy? They cover that in the Marine Corps.
No, really.
There wasn't a course on that in the Marine
let's
Corps.
be honest, boot camp was kind of a blur.
Right. So I don't know much either, right?
Yeah.
But here's what I do know. A lot of ancient philosophy, education, all that kind of stuff, you wouldn't like just go to a class and this is my philosophy class, right?
Oh, yeah, no.
You were
the same.
essentially taken under the wing of a master teacher or philosopher, right? So somebody like Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, those are the ones that I know. There's probably others. There was a Roman guy named Marcus Aurelius, right?
Oh.
He died in the beginning of Gladiator.
Yes. He's a totally
real
real
person.
Yes.
The movie is, the movie's questionable. I'm not sure
excuse
Maximus
me,
Decimus
sir.
Meridius is real.
Let's be honest.
I'm not sure he's a real character.
Gladiator is one of the best movies ever.
Hands down, I agree. Just questionable accuracy.
It's
for
historically
history.
accurate. Look it up. Anyway, continue.
I mean, Marcus Aurelius was real. I don't know about anybody else in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his son is real too, but who knows? Somebody in the chat let us know. But
Anyway.
but if you wanted to be a philosopher, right? You would apprentice essentially under a master philosopher, right?
Yeah.
And you would follow them. Like you would legitimately just kind of follow them around and do everything, right? The same thing in Scripture, right? In ancient times, if you wanted to be a rabbi, the way that you learned to be a rabbi was you got assigned to be assigned to a rabbi, right? And you would follow a rabbi around and just live with them, right?
Yep.
So now, where do we see that in Scripture, right?
Jesus and the disciples.
Man, there's a reason you're here, right? Right. So what did we see Jesus do? Jesus finds 12 dudes.
He says, "Follow me."
He says,
Okay.
"Follow me." Right? Now,
Yep.
that's not a thing that we really do anymore, right? So when when I decided I wanted to, enter into ministry and do work in the church, like it's not like go find a pastor to follow and you will do everything. Like it's not quite the same. You go, you get educated, you get a job, right? And then, depending on how cool your boss is, you either actually learn how to do your job that
Right.
college didn't actually teach you how to do, right? Which applies to all vocations, not just ministry.
You could have
right?
the book smarts, but you got to have the
Right.
practical application side of it. So
Right. Yeah, it's a different world. When you sat
Yes.
in class, like you may have graduated with a business degree, but you get into your real job in the real world, and you may or may not have any clue what to do. You may sit. A lot of people sit in their office or in that cubicle the first day. It's like, what do I do now?
They didn't show me that algorithm on
Right?
Excel.
Legit, my first day in my first big boy job, I remember I set up my office. Everything was nice. I literally had all my ducks in a row because they had surprised me with little rubber duckies on my desk. It was really fun. So I literally had all my ducks in a row. But I'm right.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a thing? Do I have that one? No, that's the wrong one.
Let's go.
That's that one. There it is. It's one of them. I'll find it eventually.
All right, so
I'm sitting in my office with just like no clue what to do.
yeah.
Thank you for that awkward moment while I take a drink.
Yes. Very nice.
Appreciate that.
I didn't want to fill the space.
But I appreciate you not doing that. But Dustin shared this verse that really brought this he brought that whole conversation, that idea back to my mind. But this verse, Trevor's going to read for us in a second. Romans 8:14. This is the verse that Dustin shared on Sunday.
For those who are led by the Spirit of God are the children of God. Dramatic space.
Right, thank you. I figured I'd give it a second too, and I want to make sure I finish swallowing my coffee before I do. Look how professional this show is. Like drinking coffee, giving you awkward space.
We spend a lot of
You're
time
welcome.
rehearsing.
That's
this.
what we're here for.
A lot of time.
But he read that verse and it brought that idea back to my mind of like, so if you're following, you're being led, right? So who are you being led by, right? I started thinking about so often the way that we speak, the way that we act, right, is because we're being led by someone, right?
Yeah.
And I thought of like, what are the things that lead us in our life, right? Sometimes we get led by our family, right? Because I would venture to guess, Trevor.
Okay.
Now, you tell me if this is true.
All right.
Are there ways in which you happen to be like Lynn Worley?
Yeah, a lot. I'm a lot like Lynn Worley.
Right?
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
He's a pretty cool guy. There are worse people you could be like.
I like my dad. He's awesome.
He's pretty great, mostly because he's from Michigan. But he's also great.
That's one of the good qualities.
He's another one of our good-looking bald friends.
Yes.
Good man. You know what's fun is he and I were he was trying to help me work on fixing a TV on Sunday. It was
What a
so
guy.
great. Yeah, good dude.
He ain't gonna be
Shout
able
out
to
to
do
good
nothing.
old Lynn Worley.
He ain't gonna be able to do nothing to help you with the TV.
But
you know what? He
It
was willing.
Great support.
Yes.
Yes. I love me some Lynn Worley. Shout out to Lynn.
Love you, Dad.
Yes, the ducks on the walls. Yeah. Oh, they did also cover my entire walls in sticky notes as well. That was awesome.
Those are good coworkers.
That was a great time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was a youth pastor. It was actually my students. It was great. It was good
Well,
fun.
I guess they are coworkers.
And they lasted a long time.
Wow.
Shocking. If I had wanted them there, they would have fallen off immediately. But they were there a long time. But like there are times in our life and in probably ways that we're led by our family,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, our parents, that's their job, right? But we follow our family. We do
Yes.
things, we learn, we take cues from them. We learn how to act based on the way that they speak and the way that they act, right?
Yeah.
And gentlemen, dads, that's why it's so important for you to lead the way in
Yes.
bringing your kids to church, right?
Yeah, and that's why the
Moms-
Bible says
Moms
train
are
up-
fantastic.
yeah, train up your child in the way that they should go, and they will not depart from it, right?
Absolutely.
That's why, because family plays a huge role, a big influence in a kid's life. So if they see the wrong influence their whole life, what do you think they're going to do? Mm-hmm. Or at least gravitate towards, I should say.
Fathers, you're leading your children.
Yes.
Right? A lot of times, I think we see this a lot in kids and students. We see people being led by their friends. Right? So the old adage of like, well, if your friends jumped off a bridge, would you do it too? Like, I've asked my kids that, and they're like, well, like, shut up. Don't do that.
No.
Come
Just
on.
say no.
Right? So I've legit had that conversation with my kids, and they're like, well, I mean, how high is it? Shut up. That's not the point. The point is, don't do everything your friends do.
Well, where's the bridge?
Right? Where's the bridge? What's under the bridge? What am I going to land on?
strapped to a bungee cord?
Look, it's wrong to slap your children, right? That's all I'm going to say.
Debatable.
It's wrong to slap your children.
Debatable.
But, there are some scriptures, one of which I think we'll actually come across on Sunday.
You
Little
will see it
teaser.
on Sunday.
We got some fun for you on Sunday that Trevor and I got to
You
put
do
together.
not want to miss.
Trevor's going to be a fun day. Sunday's going to be a fun day.
Yes.
We got something special for you, so make sure you join us for Sunday. It's going to be a good time. But then I think as you get a little bit older, I think you come across times where and Dustin even hit on this a couple weeks ago, where people start to follow. This is like a lot of young men in their 20s and 30s, I feel like, fall into this category, where they're being led or they're following a lot of talking heads, right? Kind of like philosophers of our day. And
Podcasts.
always podcasts, right? Which maybe is a little bit ironic that,
That
Now, I'm
doesn't
not
include
hating
us. We're not, we're
I'm not hating on this because I love a good podcast,
Yeah.
right? But there are people like Dustin mentioned Jordan Peterson, right? Jordan Peterson, he's Canadian, but the man is smart.
he's Canadian.
He's Canadian.
You hear that, Pastor Mike?
He's Canadian, but I got a lot of love.
He's
for
smart
Jordan Peterson.
despite his Canadianness.
But we've got a lot of young men in their 20s and 30s. This is something Dustin hit on, I think, in his first week of his winning series, or maybe it was a week 4. I don't know. They're all great. Just watch them all. But he's talking about how there are people that are associating and following these talking heads, right? And they're getting their cues for how to live, how to act, what's expected of them from these talking heads. And then a lot of us, we get our cues for how to live based on our experience, right?
Yeah.
And in some ways, it could be coming from trauma from your childhood, and like, here's what I've seen, here's what I've experienced, so now I'm going to act and behave this way, right?
Right.
But what does Romans 8 say? Those who are led by the Spirit of God are the children of God, right? So what do we take from that is who's leading you? And you should check yourself frequently on who's leading you.
And the Spirit of God brings with it wisdom and discernment, which is what every Christian is required to pursue and chase after.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you're being led by the Spirit of God, you're going to have a natural level of wisdom and discernment, so you can pick out the talking heads from the people who are speaking truth into your life.
Yeah.
So
That's why you're the co-host, right
You're
there. Right there.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Trevor. Give it up for Trevor in the chat. Way to go. Oh, wait, where is it? Oh, yeah, I got that button for a reason. Look at that.
Thank you. You're too kind.
We are too kind. Yeah, that was too much. I agree. But think about that. Who is leading you? What are you being led by? What's guiding your decisions? Who are you following, right? And you know what? It's going to happen. You're going to catch yourself at some point like, oh, I made that decision based on, the advice of this person. And that's not all bad things. I listen to podcasts, right? But what is that advice being based on, right? So forgive me, I can't remember the verse, but Paul says very clearly, follow my example as I follow Christ.
Yes.
Right? So are the people that you're listening to or the people that you're following and allowing to speak into your life, are they following Christ? Right? Are they speaking into your life in positive ways? Right?
Very important.
So ask yourself that question this week. What am I being led by? And if it's a good thing just to kind of reflect on, right? What am I being led by? What am I allowing to influence my decision making, my choices, right? My speech, the way I communicate with people, the things I post on social media, all that good stuff, right? What are you being led by? I just love that verse. Hold on to that verse this week. That's just a great reminder. And until he said that on Sunday, like I said, I've been in church a long time. It's not often I come across verses that I don't recognize, right? I've read a lot of scripture and heard a lot of messages. But he said that verse on Sunday. I don't know that I've ever heard that.
So, it's one of those verses that I guess is pretty easy to kind of like glaze over when reading the whole passage or, going through stuff. But that's a good one.
Yeah.
Good find.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dustin, for sharing that with us. Go back and watch all of the winning series. It's all there. You can find it all on the Parkway app. It's the best way to find it. It's on YouTube. You can go back on Facebook. It's a little tougher to find on Facebook, but it's in YouTube. It's on our app. It's on our website. You can find all of our message series there. You can find old episodes of Midweek Motivation there, or also on Apple and Spotify podcasts. You can find Midweek Motivation there. You can find past messages there as well. Keep up with all those things. We'd love for you to share this with somebody, share those messages with somebody. I say this all the time, but there's somebody in your life that needs just a little bit of encouragement, and you could be the one to give it to them just by sharing this. So we'd love for you to do that. If you're not a part of our group, you can text the number on the screen, text the word MOTIVATE to 540-900-3838. That'll put you in our group. You can get a little motivation and encouragement and, make sure you never miss a show.
Yep.
Good show, Trevor.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
What a good day, man.
You know, we almost made it. You
We
said
almost
your
made
goal
it.
was
That was pretty good.
35 minutes. We made it 43 minutes.
Hey,
I will take it. That's a win.
I'll take it. That works. I'll take it. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you back next week for another episode of Midweek Motivation. Have a great week and stay motivated.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, when you're feeling down and motivated in the midweek, we got the guys here to make your life complete. Little John, Brandon, Cody, Carly, they're coming in to keep you motivated all week. New episode, same time every week. Don't gotta wait long for the next one to release. So don't go away, sit down, take a seat, enjoy Midweek Motivation with John and Carly. Hey.
Midweek Motivation.
Let's go!